everyone? It is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. Switching up the recording a little bit, so apologies if it looks different. I'm using QuickTime instead of OBS. So that is might make the picture look a little bit weird, but gonna just do the best that I can, and I'll adjust it and see if I can get OBS fixed in the next couple of days. So yesterday I didn't give any picks. I gave sort of a Dan style point and shoot video with my phone. And let's just go over the market price action yesterday. Pretty LPTE conditions, can't talk, with a slight bullish bias. Today we had a flat open again. We're inside the prior day, so it's already going to be pretty low probability, and we've seen some back and forth moves throughout the day. The ranges have been very, very compressed and very, very tiny, so really need stocks to do all of the work. So let's go over our market bias real quick before we get into the picks from the last video. Over here on my screen, I have written out, the market outlook for today and all of my stocks. The main thing here, like I said before, nothing has really changed too much. We're moving through 600. We got some economic news coming out this week. So we got the jolt, which was fairly in line. Not a lot of reaction on the market today. And tomorrow we have ISM Services at 10. Powell is speaking at 1:45 EST. Friday with the unemployment report in Michigan. We also have ADP on Wednesday as well. Next week we got CPI and PPI. And then the week after, retail sales, which is a little bit more minor. And then the FOMC statement. And then after that, we are in the holiday break. So that's what we're seeing. Now, in terms of what we can expect on a shorter term basis, we are in the middle of this sort of upcycle, and I feel like we're a little bit closer to the end than the beginning. So I'm waiting to see on this breakout. We usually typically get one bullish trend day, maybe two sometimes, but we get one bullish trend day on that breakout. So I'm watching to see either this hold, either a little retest of this level, maybe a nice little tail on that retest, and a nice bullish trend day with some overnight follow through. If you just scroll back on the chart on SPY over here, right? So we get, right, so here's our breakout to an all-time high, and that's our bullish trend day over here. Then we get the red kind of engulf. We get the second breakout. We don't get knocked down too hard here, right? We get our bullish trend day. There's some follow-through. Here we get some compression, breakout, bullish trend day. We get some follow-through, and then we can take some profits over here. This, we had some volatility, so no breakouts, new all-time high over here. Here's the dip, and then here's the breakout over here. Some follow-through, compression, breakout of the compression to a new all-time high, pause, and then we get the follow-through. So you can see that we've tested here. We kind of grinded up a little bit, broken out, and we're holding these gains here. And I'm expecting a bullish trend day sometime this week, especially with some of the economic news coming up. So here we are today, pretty dead day, and I think it's very highly likely that we have an LPTE day. And I do believe that we will stay pretty much inside this range. So you notice that today we're in the middle of a move. LPTE with slight bullish bias yesterday, a flat open today, also an inside day, which I will type out over here, an inside day. We know that tech is pretty strong, and they're seeing some nice love, some nice sector rotation. Finance, RSP, IWM, a little bit more weak. Also mega cap, QQQ, some other tech ETFs. Semis are doing pretty well. Crypto's not exactly quote-unquote tech, but tech is a pretty broad name. But crypto is also doing a little bit well today after seeing some profit taking for the past couple of days. Couple of scenarios that I saw today based on the first hour where we kind of had a choppy move lower. So here's that first hour move. You can see that we're making some lower lows. And I thought, all right, well, here we are after the first hour of the day. Slightly bearish, but trend is still up. So it really depended on whether we held this prior day low or if we were able to break through. So we're testing it, and we got kind of a test and hold over here, moved up a little bit higher, another test and hold, moving up a little bit higher and a little bit stronger, right? And now this is a taller bounce. We're testing the high of the day, and we are testing the high of the day, and we are actually above this relative high. So looks like the tide is slowly turning over here in terms of day trades. Now, one thing to consider is that the market is in a pretty long bullish cycle. And if you look at the start of the cycle here versus the end of the cycle, hasn't really produced a whole lot. So I'm expecting, given the choppy day, I'm not expecting this to be a steady move up higher over here. I'm expecting this high of the day to hold. Now, if we start to break through the high of the day, then we can get a little more bullish. And if we start to reject back in the range, we know that it's going to be a little bit more LPTE. Now, let's go over some of the picks that we're currently in. I'm going to pull them up on the chart. And so TMDX will be my pick today. But in terms of the picks we're currently in, we have AFRM. That is doing pretty well. And I liked how it is kind of gobbling up this red candle yesterday. A little bit of heavy selling. So I'd like for this stock to get above this high in the next day or so. Same thing with AI. Stock kind of chopping around a little bit. It's testing. This is the IPO AVWAP here. And actually, if I were to put this up, whoops, that's the wrong one. You can see here's the IPO AVWAP coming into play, as well as some horizontal support. And here is some horizontal resistance. So just has to kind of chew through those levels. Made a pretty big move, and we want to see if it can hold those gains over here. Then we have Amazon. Amazon, we are still in that swing from 208 after the partial loss. So we're still probably down a little bit with the partial loss. But I do believe that on this next leg higher, we can get some pretty good profits on Amazon. App is doing pretty well. Took that at about 323. Stock is compressing, so we're probably going to add to App today. Dash, kind of flat over here, not really doing a whole lot. So we're bet at break even. GoDaddy, not kind of compressing here, pulling back a little bit to the 8 EMA, but I still think this is pretty decent. A little bit of heavier volume on the selling pressure, but we haven't really seen any sort of net movement. So not panicking really at all on that stock. Still pretty tiny compression. Netflix is erasing this red candle and seems to get back on track. So we know we're in good shape over here. Oh, just going to let this load. Okay. So we're loading Reddit, which is finding some support at this 139 level, starting to inch up a little higher. Team is also starting to break out over here, testing this level, so we're holding that line. Twilio is doing decent. Now it has a bit of a double top higher low, and if I were to flip back to this, I know that's a crazy looking chart, but there's that IPO AVWAP on Twilio coming into play, so that's going to be probably a place where I'm looking to take gains. And then Shop is doing okay. It's pretty much at our average price, which is $111.50, and we are looking for a breakout of this level right here at 115. If we get that breakout, we should see some nice follow through. UPSD Had a sell signal here, which I didn't like after we took this stock somewhere around here, 77, 78 bucks. Now we're leading on this as technical support. That's really the level. So as long as that holds, we're in good shape. So I don't like that red candle that much. But if we start to hold and chug higher, then I feel pretty good about UPST. So I'm going to set an alert on the downside on this stock and set an alert over here. Okay. So those are the picks for today. Now, what I do really like is this breakout on app. Now, I'm going to zoom probably to like an H1 chart potentially, or even an M30 chart on app, just to get the sense of the trend. So compressed here, we took it on this breakout. Somewhere over here, 323. Stock was compressing sideways, and then it staged another breakout. Now, after this breakout, the stock kind of pulled back a little bit. So I'm thinking over here is, okay, I mean, we're getting this breakout. Is it going to pull back, or is it going to continue forward? And because we had this last breakout that pulled back, I'm a little bit more tempted to wait for a dip to get in on the stock versus enter a little bit now. So that's what I'm kind of thinking on app. And I'll look at the M30 chart here just to see how the buy and sell signals are doing. So this buy signal worked out pretty well, but not super sensitive. So let's look at maybe an M15 frame, see if that was a little bit more sensitive. Okay, so this worked decently. We got the exit, we got a flip, exit, flip, exit, sell, exit. We got a buy here that we're still on. So I prefer to get in kind of on these trend line breakouts here, so we're a little bit closer to support. So what I expect is that, look, we might pull back over here, and I guess we have to see what really the market's doing. So when it broke out, here's the breakout on the 19th, and then here's the market on the 19th. The market actually ended up rallying for the past couple of days, and app was just kind of compressing. So yeah, to me, this is looking good. You may have to be a little more patient, but I would rather actually wait for a bit of a dip and then enter on that dip. So what I'm going to do is check my alerts. It's above VWAP. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alert on an M5 signal and add on an M5 buy signal. And what I want to see is this stock come back and test this level and then flip to an M5, and then we get above VWAP. So I'm going to add to app on that time. Let's look at the pick for today, which is going to be TMDX. There's a couple of really nice day trade picks, but I like the short side for a couple of reasons. One is that we had this sort of big bearish divergence. The market's in an LPT kind of day, not really doing a whole lot. And two, right, the market was kind of moving up in the middle of this cycle. So if we look at TMDX over here, stock is holding flat to the market and not really moving at all. And the market has made a pretty decent move from 11.45 to 1. I say pretty decent as in it moved up $1.50. But if you look at this from 11.45 to 1 here, stock is actually slightly down. So this is looking pretty good, and this is some pretty low volume on these green bars. I'm not super worried about this. As long as the market continues to be choppy and the market doesn't change over here, then I'm still pretty good at staying this trade. And I want this stock, I want the market to kind of start to roll over a little bit over here. And if TMDX can't roll over, then I'm going to exit the trade. But I do like TMDX here. And again, we're waiting to see what the market does at this level. So that's probably going to be my pick of the day, but I'm going to look at a couple of other tags right now, a couple of other longs in case we are wrong. First one here is EL. That has been a beautiful grinder. Steady compression, higher lows, get the breakout, and then that move has been continuing up and kind of breaking to that compression. Meta made a pretty big move today. but it is choppy intraday, so I'm have an alert probably over here at the 606 candles. So if we can get through that, I feel pretty good about getting into meta. And I'd like to see a couple of higher lows, but the stock has not rallied with the market. Same thing with Credo. I want to see some relative strength, and I'm not quite seeing it. App pulling back a little bit over here. PLTR has a nice breakout on the D1 chart, but you can see how it's choppy. We get the breakout, we get the retest, get the breakout, get the retest. I think same thing. If I were to go to an M30 chart, I would probably see a pretty similar story. Yeah, so we get this move here, breakout, come back, and then we're kind of, the bid is kind of forming. We're slowly starting to rally over here. We get that breakout, and we're finding support above that level. We're holding this level over here. So I like PLTR, but I would much rather get in on a dip. So let's see. Oh yeah, this buy signal alert, not too bad. Not too bad. So going to create an alert, or actually I can just do this. Create alert, buy signal, done, and save that for PLTR. Okay. App we already called out. Guild looked pretty nice early, and I'll tell you what I liked on Guild. I liked this nice steady buying on the D1. Found some support at this horizontal resistance and the 50 SMA. Steady grind up since the 19th. Very orderly price action. Doesn't get too ahead of itself. So Guild is a pretty nice one. It's been on a buy signal for the past couple of days. Here's a move up, compressed, move up, compressed. So let me see what alert I have set over here. Oh, that buy signal alert that was triggered earlier this morning. So let's take a look at this. We got that alert, so we're going to view this alert and reset it. And we're going to set an alert at the high. So if we can break through that compression, I think that is going to be a nice long. Another nice short over here. INTC has some news. Pulling back over here to VWAP, so not really rallying a whole lot. Going to set an alert over here. If we can get a little test and then a smack down over here, feel pretty good about INTC. I'm also going to set, that's a pretty bad alert. I'm going to set an alert right here. Break through that shallow trend line. But yeah, pretty steady grinder. You can see that makes a move down, pulls back to the 8 EMA, moves down, pulls back to the 8 EMA. So you can get a pretty decent price at this 8 EMA on INTC, and a lot of CEO transition type of news. Guess they're not doing as well compared to other semis. All right. So, yeah. I am going to recommend TMDX. And here's the thing. As long as we hold above this relative high, so that's kind of our stop over here. Hold above this relative high, and the market starts to roll over, then I feel good about TMDX. If it can't hold above this level, then don't take the trade. Oh, there's INTC. So INTC might also set up. So let's see this short. Yeah, I mean, that's looking pretty good. I would not mind taking that. Setting up a little bit better, considering that TMDX had a little bit of a pop-up. And we want to see that green candle get slightly faded over here. So, yeah, INTC and TMDX, maybe as a day trade short. Wouldn't mind that later in the day. And those are going to be your short picks for today. Yeah, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. And we're going to take a look at how those two day trade shorts did. in tomorrow's video.